So as you start to get connected with your body, and if it feels safe and comfortable for you to close your eyes, you can gently rest your eyes so that you can bring your focus internal. And as you start to notice what's going on in your body, maybe invite yourself to do a little body scan, noticing what's going on in your feet, your ankles. What are the sensations that you feel here? Does it feel tight? Do you feel a pulsing sensation? Do you feel a temperature? What about your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips? And just observing, there's no judgment, it's just acknowledging, witnessing. What about your belly? Does it feel tight and taut? Does it feel like you're holding your stomach, clenching it, or does it feel pretty loose and free? What about your shoulders? Do you notice that they come up close to your ear? Are they lifted off of the mat? How about your neck, your throat, your jaw? Is your jaw clenched or is it relaxed? Is there a little space between your teeth? What do your eyes and eyebrows and eyelids feel like? Do they feel rested or do they feel like they have been constantly contracted, activated? Maybe you didn't even realize it. What about the top of your head, scalp? Can you notice the space around your head? Or more so, can you notice your head in space, your body in space? What about your state of being? How are you feeling today emotionally? Do you feel confused, furious, bothered, relaxed, numb? There's no right or wrong. It's just acknowledging and realizing that this is just an emotion of time and it's temporary. And then without changing, just observing, acknowledging, what is your breath like? What's your breath telling you? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it fast? Is it slow? And then we're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths together. So what this is it's going to be a breath in through the nose, a slight hold at the top, and then an exhale through the mouth. It can be an audible exhale. It can be just a gentle sigh. So whenever you're ready, go ahead, take a deep breath in from the nose. Hold at the top. And let it go. Take a second breath in. Hold. And release. Go ahead, take a final deep breath in. Fill up your lungs, your belly as much as you can. Let it go. Notice if your body is requesting another breath. Go ahead and give it to yourself. Notice the subtleties, the small changes just by coming to your breath, just by observing your body slowing down. Or make things simple. And that's today's intention for this practice, is to keep things simple. Because sometimes we have a chaotic mind. Sometimes we have a monkey mind. Or just in general, we tend to complicate things as human beings, making it mean more than it should. And sometimes these thoughts are repetitive based on our subconscious mind. How many thoughts do you have a day that you're unaware of? And do you know that about 3/4 of these thoughts repeat themselves on a daily basis? It's because the subconscious mind operates on patterns and habits, programs that were installed when we were up to 7 years old, if not older. So today, I ask that you bring your conscious mind forward, because your conscious mind is the goal setter and your subconscious mind is the goal getter. So if you are redirecting these thoughts and telling your subconscious mind what to think of, then your subconscious mind knows what to do. So today, I invite you with curiosity to set the intentions. I pray that you experience the opportunity to renew your mind, to have new, refreshing thoughts, new thinking patterns, thoughts that create excitement and joy, mostly simplicity. I pray that you continue to have simple thoughts. And when you notice yourself getting a little complicated, you slow down and realize simplicity is the answer. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, you can start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. If you want to take a deep stretch, you can. Maybe rock your head from side to side. Just bringing back some movement into the body. Gently, you can start to bring your knees in towards your chest. You can hold your legs. You can rock from side to side if you'd like. Just feel the back supported beneath you, massaging the organs, belly. And then slowly you can drop your feet back down towards the mat. We're going to open our hands up into a T position. Your knees are going to be bent. And then we're going to come into our first pose. It's going to be a reclined twist. We're going to drop our knees over towards the left as our hands are out into a T position. If you want to put a pillow underneath your knees, in between your legs, you can always do that. See if you can gently still rest your eyes, going internal to notice, where do you feel these sensations? Where in your back or maybe your hips do you feel that it's locked? Or maybe it feels jammed? Let this resemble the complexities that's in our minds. And with your breath, your simple breath that just operates on a giving and receiving, something that happens naturally, simplifies life, to realize that all you need in this life is your breath, and your breath slowly relaxes this area that feels locked. It unlocks it. Take a deep breath in from your nose and exhale out. Where in your life have you been really chaotic? Or maybe overanalyzing things. Maybe you're fully associated to the experience or the event. Your emotions are really activated. That if you were to just simplify what it is, maybe you zoom out a little bit. Notice how it feels. What is it that you get to let go of to make it simple? I think it determines and also depends, what does simplicity mean to you? How do you know things are simple? If you were to define it, what is the definition specifically to you? Find your breath. And then slowly, with control, you can bring your knees back up towards center. You can readjust the spine, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then slowly, you can drop your knees over towards the right. Notice the elongation that you feel on the sides of your body, your obliques. If you notice that your shoulders come up and are tense, how does your body want to be modified to feel comfortable? Sometimes we make things complex through interrogation. We're asking as if we know the answer or we assume the outcome. But what if you ask questions in a sense of curiosity? Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Maybe you ask, what am I supposed to learn from this? And I think one of the most important concepts is that we're not supposed to rely on our own understanding. So, whose understanding do you rely on? Do you trust that God has a specific plan for you and He knows what He's doing in your life and why these events and challenges are happening? Have you ever thought that these challenges create character? Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, you can bring your knees back up towards center. You can adjust the spine, whatever feels comfortable for you. And this is going to be a majority of the practice today, is these spinal twists, but we're going to incorporate the hips a little bit more. So your feet can come down onto the mat. The knees will still be bent. We're going to come into a reclined pigeon pose. So go ahead, cross your right ankle over your left knee. So it's kind of like a figure four. You can feel the stretch happening in the hip, or if you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can lift your left foot off the mat and interlace your hands around that left thigh. However, if your shoulders come up or your lower back comes off the mat, maybe you've gone a little too far. So see if you can relax the lower back, relax the shoulders. We're going to be here for 2 breaths. And on your next exhale, you can slowly release the left foot back down towards the mat. Keep the right foot crossed over the left leg. The hands are going to come back out into that T position. And we're going to send our feet and legs over towards the left. So the sole of the right foot is on the ground and the right knee is pointed up towards the ceiling. You can always place a pillow underneath your right foot if that feels better for you. And you should feel a good stretch on the outside of that right hip. And notice if both of your shoulders can touch the mat. And if you're experiencing an uncomfortable sensation, and again, ask your body, how does it want to be modified to feel comfortable in this pose, where you've received the benefits, but you're not overextending yourself. I want to talk a little bit more about character, because our character is truly what identifies us. It's not about what we do, it's how we do it. And I think it's so funny because we have this verb to be, and it's an action statement, but it's I am He is. We are. And then we typically define ourselves based on our accomplishments. I am a doctor. I am an athlete. But that's always temporary. So you can't necessarily be an action. You can have a doctorate degree. You can play a sport. God bless you. Because a doctor can be good or bad. Doctor can care about money. A doctor can care about the patient. Does being a doctor define who they are as a person? So maybe you analyze the labels that you've put on yourself that you've identified with and ask yourself, is this true? Is this truly who I am? Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Does this bring a little bit more peace, knowing that you are not these labels? Does it relieve any pressure that your character is not defined by your accomplishments or your successes, but it's based on the integrity of your heart? And the interesting thing is, outside, it might look different to everybody of who you are, but only you know who you are. And only God knows who you are because He created you. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, with control, you can gently bring your legs back up towards center. If you need a moment to readjust the spine, you can, but we're going to keep the right leg crossed over the left knee. So instead of sending the legs towards the right, we're going to send the legs, to the left. We're going to send the legs over towards the right. So the right foot is on top and it's putting weight on the left knee to turn inwards. Notice if your body is requesting support from a pillow or to be modified. Notice the sensations that you feel inside your hip. Notice if that sensation extends out to your back, your shoulders, maybe even your knees or your ankles. Again, you only know your body better than anybody else. This is the relationship that you get to develop with your body. And that's the one thing that nobody can take away from you is your relationship with your body. And the only other identity that you can resort to is being a human being, which means we have an ego and we have a soul and we have a body. And it also means that we are on a journey. So can you accept and just be the human being that you are? With the flaws and imperfections. God accepts you the way that you are because He created you this way. Your journey creates your character. And one day you'll look back at this moment, this experience, and you will have nothing but gratitude for being here because it's going to bring you somewhere where you could never imagine. So then again, I say, do not rely on your own understanding because God knows what He's doing. It's not the external outcome, it's the internal outcome. It's who you become throughout the journey. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, you can bring your knees back up towards center. You can release the cross. You can make any movements that feels comfortable for your body. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead across your left foot over the right knee. You can hold here for a moment and back. If you want to interlace your hands around your right thigh, you can. You're going to be here for 2 breaths. Remember not to force yourself, just to keep it simple. Your body will invite you. And then slowly you can bring that right foot back down towards the mat, keeping that figure 4 with your legs. You can open your hands into that T position. And then whenever your body will allow, you can go ahead, send your legs over towards the right so the sole of the left foot is on the mat or on the floor. Your left knee points up towards the ceiling and you're feeling that good stretch on the outside of that left hip. We have 2 different types of fears. We have a primal fear and an intellectual fear. And even the intellectual fear breaks down into 2 more. The primal fear is necessary and needed for our human survival. It's the, what am I going to eat? Or is there a predator around? The awareness of your safety. And then we have the intellectual fear, which I believe man-made. It's man-made. It's the limited beliefs, the thinking of, I'm not good enough. or I can't do this. Who am I to have this? And that's learned. That's based on previous experiences. But I encourage you that now, as you start to have this awareness of what these types of fears are and these limited beliefs, you get to come back to your identity, because your identity will override this fear. When you know who you are as a child of God, you are worthy. You can do it. You can do anything with God. It's a relationship, just like right now you're creating a relationship with your body. It's a two-way street. If you want to seek more connectedness, or if you want more connectedness, you must seek that connectedness, because that connectedness is seeking you. So come with curiosity. So maybe you pray to give you insight as to what this experience is to teach you, and who do you get to become through this experience? Who does God see you as, and who did He create you to be? And if you just sit in stillness and simplicity, maybe, just maybe, you'll hear His whispers. He's not here to yell. He's here to have a conversation. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, you can bring your knees back up towards center. And then you can drop your knees over towards the left. Feeling that internal rotation. And maybe this side feels different than the other. Can you release any sense of judgments or expectations? So the subcategory of the intellectual fear comes down to what we should and what we shouldn't do. Maybe we feel anxious when we know that change is coming, growth outside of our comfort zone. So how do we know if we should do it or not? Maybe it's an opportunity. But it's within the body. If you feel that sense of chaos and you're going about asking for advice of what you should do, or maybe you just feel a pit and heaviness in your stomach, you feel like you've hit a wall, that's typically a fear that's rerouting you to a different path. Suggesting that maybe this isn't the road. Maybe this isn't where you're supposed to be. But alternatively, if you feel a sense of intimidation that you know it's going to request more of you, it's going to support your evolution, it's going to enhance your character, you feel weightless or jitters, typically means that you should do it. These sometimes are little whispers from God that communicates through our body. So our bodies are like antennas receiving energy, not just from our environment, but from our source. Do you have the ability to just slow down, stop and listen for a moment and give yourself the space to hear, to make it simple versus beating and running around the bush, overcomplicating it? Take another deep breath in and exhale. Slowly, you can bring your legs back up towards center. You can release the cross. You can make any movement that feels good in your body. And then we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna extend our legs straight up towards the ceiling. This is passive. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. You can have a micro bend within the knees. You can place your hands behind your legs. You can place them under your back. But what this is we're going to reverse the blood flow. We're going against gravity, against the grain. And so maybe you already start to feel tingles in your feet, but how do you handle that discomfort? Knowing that, again, it's only temporary and it's only going to promote better blood flow for your feet. But even better, it's a beautiful metaphor. Because sometimes in life, as we change our identity, as we have these different options, changes, the environment that we're used to doesn't always accept them. And sometimes we have to go against that grain. And it's going to feel really uncomfortable as you step into the purest version of yourself. But what I can say is that nothing worth it in life is easy, and that going through these discomforts is only going to expand you. And that I can promise you that at the end, you will feel revitalized, you will feel refreshed, and you will be rewarded for going through and against the grain, trusting your heart, trusting your soul, your intuition, and the guidance from God. Take a deep breath in. And slowly you can start to relax your legs back down towards the mat. Feel the blood flow going back to your feet. If you want to extend your legs out all the way in front of you, knowing that your hips are replenished with brand new blood. The body knows exactly what to do. It's simple. You just have to be there. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. If your hands want to stay out, they can. If your hands want to come by your hips, if you want to place your hands on your belly, you can always do that. But take a moment to just rest your eyes. Praying that your mind to be renewed, to refresh your thoughts and your thinking pattern, and to open your mind with curiosity as to the possibilities and opportunities that are around you. And that you have the wisdom to know which doors are meant for you, which doors God has opened for you, and even more so, the discernment to know what doors to walk through. The wisdom and the discernment to know your identity and who you are as a child of God. You don't have to do anything, you just get to receive. So take a deep breath in. Notice how easy it is to take that breath, how easy it is to receive oxygen. And exhaling to give back, surrendering, letting go of control, and how easy that is. Slowly, you can start to take a deep breath in from your nose and exhale out. Slowly, you can start to move your neck and your head from side to side. You can start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, bringing movement back into the body. Maybe you take a deep stretch with your hands up over your head. And as gentle as slowly as your body will allow, you can slowly roll over onto either side of your body. And utilizing this position to slowly lift you up to come into a cross-legged seated position. Take a moment to just rest your eyes, being mindful of this new state, this new being, the space created in your body, the renewal of your mind, your spirit. And most importantly, may you know that this is already within you. You can access this state, these resources, just by setting this time aside for you. Remember to keep it simple. It doesn't have to be anything complex. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Slowly, your hands can come to prayer pose in front of your heart. Taking a moment to honor yourself, honor your journey, the courage that it takes to show up, to make these changes, to purify yourself. Because you already are perfect the way you are. You're just letting go of everything that is not of you, anything that's inauthentic, as you get to step into this most authentic version of yourself. Honoring your journey that has brought you here, and honoring where you're going. Most importantly, may you stand in your light and cherish it. Malama Pono. Thank you for practicing with me today.
Thank you. Thank you.